So at the end of last week, we had Josh Hawley, one senator who said that they would sign on to the radical, hopefully in vain attempt to overturn the results of the election in like 2 days now, actually. But Hawley is not alone. Now there's a bunch. Mitch McConnell had hoped to avoid the spectacle of his party leading a last-ditch effort to prevent Joe Biden from being declared the 2020 election winner. But Josh Hawley said he would raise a general objection, and now others are adding on to it. You've got Ted Cruz, another who, like Hawley, is considering and almost certainly will run for president in 2024, released a statement saying that he would do it because, like, if you're going to end democracy, do it to support the guy who called your wife a hag. Not just him. We also have Ron Johnson, James Lankford, Steve Daines, John Kennedy, Marsha Blackburn, who I believe criticized his call this morning, but is totally in favor of ending democracy to keep him in office. Mike Braun, Cynthia Lummis, Roger Marshall, Bill Hagerty, Tommy Tuberville. So this is not like, it would be bad enough if it was, oh, you got Gomer and Halls or whatever, or you got Gates and Halls. This is a significant and growing chunk of all of the most powerful elected Republicans in the country saying, we don't like the results, we didn't win, we don't believe Democrats get to assume power no matter how much they win by, and so we, if we can, are just going to steal the election. That's all this is. It is hopefully doomed to failure, but that is what is happening. And it is not just the crazies, it's all of them, which are also crazy, but you get my point.
Yeah, I mean, this is, they are weaponizing once again something that is a norm, is a bizarre procedural part of our already bizarre procedural voting process, which is the Electoral College. And this is really just, you're certifying the election results. You're certifying the Electoral College vote. Pence is supposed to get up there and just be like, I dub the results, whatever, that's it. And they're all now saying, and I guess per the rules, you can raise a flag or raise a question as you pull the sort of Electoral College votes out of what are mahogany boxes straight up and be like, this looks funny. And then if someone in the House agrees with someone in the Senate, which they will, then both houses go deliberate on it for like a couple hours to determine whether or not they're legitimate results. I mean, it is a total slap in the face to everyone who voted. And if you don't think that it is, and if you're a Republican, you don't think that it's an affront to our democracy, then I would ask you to just be careful what you are co-signing when it comes to the future of this country. I mean, these are the same people that go on and on about authoritarian, communist governments and unchecked power. It's like, wow, buddy. Look in the mirror, the amount that you've got in common with all of the corrupt governments that you've been in favor of toppling over the years, that you think we need to spread democracy to. Man, I've said this before, but can someone just coup us at this point? And can it be Denmark?
Would be great. They're very happy over there. They seem to be doing some stuff right.
Yes.
Yeah. And look, I like with so many stories, I get that we don't really need, like most people watching this, they understand what the Republican Party is, or the Republicans are. It feels weird. I'm sorry, it feels weird to call it a political party because this is not, they're not just like a good faith group that is operating inside of democracy. And sometimes we win and sometimes they win, and that's what it is. It isn't that anymore. They have increasingly believed, like, and more explicitly, that as few people as possible should be able to vote. That's been very clear. As few people as possible to vote to give us the win. But now it doesn't matter. Even if the Democrats overcome these huge structural hurdles that they have constructed for decades and centuries, it doesn't matter because fundamentally they believe they are the only legitimate ones who get to rule.
Yeah.
And they sort of understand that at the end of the day, power is power and nothing else is power. If you can steal it and it's yours, you get to use it. Like if they steal it and then they hand $2 trillion to the rich, you don't get that money back someday. It's out the door. And no, Democrats don't get to win anymore. And I tweeted earlier today, I was like, and I've said this on the show, and I realized in hindsight what a stupid thing I was saying. I said, it's almost certainly gonna be a close Georgia runoff. And I hope that it's not close because if the Dems win, it's close, then they're just gonna they're gonna claim that the Dems stole it again. But then I realized, what am I talking about? If it's close, they're gonna do that. Doesn't matter how big the gap is. They're going to claim every single election is stolen. Remember, it's not just Trump, by the way. There are Republicans who lost elections around the country that you're not hearing much about because of the Trump stuff that are claiming that it was stolen from them. Yeah. They're just all gonna do it because they know their base is totally down for that. Yeah. And so going forward, we're gonna have a battle over every single election.
It's so important to remember that this is why we can't have nice things. This is why, we can't actually move forward as a country and enter an actual first world nation and enter the democracy that we keep on saying that we are, because we have actual people inside of that democracy who don't believe in it straight up. And so we have to battle with them. And my God, just looking at the polling out of Georgia, the number of specifically African-American voters who are coming out in this special runoff election, which is incredibly historic. Oh, the backlash that is coming from Republicans to try and further subvert, further repress the vote and suppress the vote, further, do all the shenanigans. Let's remember, this president is a guy who on the call couldn't remember the word for echo and just said, "I'm hearing a double sound." He is so dumb. He is so dumb, but not all Republicans are that dumb. Some of them actually are more shrewd. Some of them actually will go as far as, actually setting up an instance of fraud where they can prove it and they can sort of set it up and knock it down. Not this sort of rando strategy that these crooks are trying right now. So just to say, man, as progressives, we have to fight these centrist Dems that hold us back, but we also have to fight these completely out of control, anti-democratic fascists with whom Democrats often want to work with. And we're like, oh my God, are you not seeing what we're seeing?
I mean, let's bear in mind that in response to that call, there are elected Democrats who are like, well, we're not gonna impeach him over, we're looking forward, not looking backward. It was 2 days ago. And that ain't looking that far backward. That's this. That's all that is. That's how much, it's not you're gazing through a telescope. That's that's all it takes. It's still happening. Yeah. He still believes everything he said in the call.
God, this won't be the last crime. When he doesn't leave. Because all of this,
there will be further crimes.
I mean, John, this is the thing is all of this is basically, I need something to point to, which is why it doesn't really matter that Georgia won't win him the election. I need something to point to so that when I hunker down with my Secret Service team, I'm sorry, I'm smiling because I think it's really funny to imagine him doing that and not being backed up by the military or anybody and being hauled out of there. Sorry. But when he tries not to leave, he's got to have something to point to. And so far they've got nothing.
I just imagine he's being dragged by his ankles and he's doing the thing where you hold onto the wall and you're gonna in the movies they scratch lines into the walls, but he's just been eating Big Macs for years, so he has no nutrients, so his nails just immediately come out. That's how this has to end for it to be appropriate. A nailless Trump. And they pull off his pants by accident. That's the only way this can end. But anyway, let's get back to the serious stuff. Ted Cruz has signed on to this plan. He's gonna be one of the senators who objects to the results of the election in a purely performative thing, which is somehow better. If you're actually trying to end democracy, somehow it's better when you just want to let people know that you'd like to. Both bad, but anyway, he says that his critics, his detractors, they're the ones who need to pump the brakes a little bit. On Sunday, he called for critics of his challenge to the results to tone down the rhetoric. I think everyone needs to calm down, he says. I think we need to tone down the rhetoric. This is already a volatile situation. It's like a tinderbox and throwing lit matches into it. Okay, you know what that is? That is, I've just stabbed you. No, stop yelling, okay? This is a really tense situation we've gotten into together. And you don't want to panic at a time like this. You're the one trying to end democracy, and you're saying people pointing that out They're the ones causing chaos, but that is actually what he's saying. He's saying, just relax, let's do our jobs. We have a responsibility to follow the law, and I'm not gonna, but like you guys should. It would be really convenient if, as I'm trying to overthrow this whole thing, if everyone else would not stop me, that would be convenient. While I'm criming, could you not point out that I'm criming and please don't try to stop my crimes? I get that would be convenient.
That is really the ideology of the entire conservative movement. And I'm sorry, it is. If you bring up racism, you're the real racist. If you bring up a crime, you're the real criminal. Like, that is all. It is a majority that holds the most power being mad when a minority shows that they're basically bending the rules. Not even a minority. When anyone points out what they're doing and says you can't just do that because you're powerful and wealthy, and then they're like, oh my God, you hate billionaires. Just, oh man, if I ever get money, I hope I'm not just that weak. Like if I ever that's just so sad. It's just like, you got money, whatever, shut up. But here, I love Ted Cruz because this is all basically like, it's like, shh, just quiet. It's just a stunt, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just let me do my stunt, and then I'll let this beard do the talking. Yeah, and you're gonna make me your next president. Like, that's all he's trying to do. He's like, he knows that it's a stunt, and he's like, just let me do the stunt. Let me do it.
I think the only thing that makes me feel a little bit less awful about the whole thing is like, and I'll probably be wrong because apparently I'm still naive and optimistic. But he's definitely not going to win the primary, right? Like, he's going to do all this performative stuff and make himself look like a possum-faced idiot. But he's not, because he can't deliver the crazy as much. Like, people want purified crazy. They want crazy that they can tell themselves that this person who's saying crazy things is being sincere.
Yeah.
You have to have that empty-eyed craziness. Like, remember, this is not true for a lot of people. I have stood near Alex Jones and I have looked into the maw of madness. There are people for whom this ain't an act anymore. Like, I've looked into the eyes of great Cthulhu and I lost a bit of my soul. They need people like that. And Ted Cruz can sort of play it a little bit, but he's not a true believer fundamentally. His true beliefs are reprehensible, but he doesn't have these as true beliefs.
Well, he was trying to be Reagan. His whole thing, he is like a child actor and or in a bad like Christmas play. Like, hark, look at the star. Like, that is Ted Cruz's soul is a poser. And he was trying to be Reagan in the 2016 election, and now he's just trying to be Trump. And like, homie, like, unless he gets really into nitrous in between now and 2024, I don't see it happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you need like bath salts Ted Cruz. That's the current front runner in the next primary. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.